Hello everyone. I've been struggling with what to place you guys on. The tripod doesn't want to work anymore. I need to invest in a new one. So if you take videos or do any of that kind of thing and have a recommendation, let me know. I'm sitting here with a massive mug of coffee. Yes, I'm back drinking coffee again. I feel like it's a need, even though last week Pete and I were talking about like how caffeine actually works and how it's really so much about it isn't actually like energy giving. But yeah, I did add in like my other bits to make it mildly better. Anyhow, I am behind on updates. We are now 16 weeks pregnant, this little baby and I can now, although we did figure out that I have a placenta that is sitting to the front, so an anterior placenta, which means that I won't be feeling movements like quite the same as with my other two pregnancies, or my other two like full-term pregnancies. So, but I can feel movements both inside and outside now, which is amazing. But it's been really chaotic, and I know I was hoping to give you guys like weekly pregnancy updates, but this is going to have to be like a 15 and 16 week put together because life has gotten chaotic. And one of the things that actually has really gone, like I've had to let go, is some like work stuff. And that's the part that feels the most yucky to me, particularly as like the only earner at the moment. My husband's in college, but I think probably the only thing that I feel like I haven't crashed and burned with is parenting, which is a good one. This week has been full of so many new things and new symptoms, some of them good, some of them bad. Oh, I really should have like prepared myself better for this video, but we are in our jammies. It is really early. It's like Saturday morning, 7 a.m. because I don't really have time to film otherwise. So I thought, let's just sit down and chat. Let's make this a little bit more of a like real update, because I don't know about you, but I love being pregnant when there's like very little pressure. For me, knowing what to expect and knowing the way I like to parent, knowing that I want to be, look, I got some tattoos from the kids yesterday at play date. Knowing that I want to be much more present, that I want to take postpartum really seriously next time. I want to make a whole separate video on that. Knowing that I want to be much more present with the kids, that they're a little bit older now, that they need more from me, that it's the first year we're like going to be like properly homeschooling. We're doing like unschooling than homeschooling. I should maybe do a whole separate video on that if you're curious. But yeah, it just changes. It means that there's like a little bit more pressure on me. And like I said, with working, I want to take maternity leave this time, says she wincing, because I've never got to do that, and that requires planning. So if any of you work for yourself and you were able to take maternity leave, tell me how you did it. I had like a really wonderful meeting with I don't have a team. I do have one assistant, and she's so wonderful. So wonderful. She's like the other part of my brain that doesn't work, you know. Or that like my brain doesn't work, her brain does work, thank goodness. And it's been so wonderful having her, but I need to like sit down and like make a proper plan for what we're gonna do. I don't know how long it's even gonna be for, if I can like pre-record content or have things for sale to be able to like step back from births and consults. And I just know I was attending births like really soon after both of the boys, and taking consults like weeks, days even after birth. Pretty sure I was still bleeding after Archer, which is fine because most of them were virtual, but you know, trying very much to practice what I preach this time around. But I think as a result of the new stressors, I've also just about finished the course that I'm taking, which in hindsight I probably didn't have the capacity to take, but better now I think than postpartum. It's the Body Ready Method Pro course, and it's been so fantastic, but just like a huge amount of work and a huge amount of like information, and I've just passed the like capstone quiz literally last night. So that's a huge like weight off my shoulders. That's why I'm like, okay, I can sit in my jammies and chat. This feels doable. So I'm very excited to be able to offer support to the families who I meet, and just like another additional layer of knowledge and information to what I already have. And then I've also taken on like a rather large caseload for births prior to my own, one of which is literally like the month before I'm due, which feels like, it sounds like a lot, but honestly there's nothing more magical than feeling your baby move as you're watching another baby be born, and like supporting a mama in that way, and just really feeling like the energy and the power. And I love birth, so it doesn't feel like work, luckily. The driving is hard, so I'm gonna have to rejig the car situation, I think. New things that have happened though. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the discharge there's just so much of it. Our bodies are so clever in, you know, increasing that load of discharge that we have to keep everything clean and safe, and you know, really mind our microbiome down there, but also our, just in general, reducing the likelihood of infection and things like that, because our anatomy changes, everything comes a little bit closer, which is why we're more prone to UTIs and things. So I think the discharge is really like very helpful in that. It's antimicrobial, it's antifungal, but there's just a lot of it. And some days I've been like, I maybe should have worn a panty liner, TMI. So that's been fun, but just become a lot more evident as kind of we got into like week 14, 15, 16. And that's called leukorrhea, if you were curious. Then the other thing is, with my last two pregnancies, I noticed I used to get like this rash around here, particularly like related to stress, I thought, but I haven't had that this time. So I'm like, interesting, what's going on there? At least not as significantly. I used to get like a very much, obviously like perioral dermatitis, and the only thing that would cure it was like just like slathering on layers of really like thick emulsifying ointment, or like just like not moving my face. It was awful. It was awful. Sun did help a little bit, and then I kind of changed my supplementation regime a bit as well. I've started getting migraines again, which I thought were related to caffeine, and now I think they might just be hormonal, like tension related headaches all the way up the back of my neck. So I need to book myself in for like a massage and go back to my acupuncture again. And then I also thought hilariously that I was out of the woods with like nausea and vomiting. Joke's on me, because it's come back with a vengeance. I am back to like where we were at like week 7, 8, like right back in the thick of it, where nothing tastes good. I'm finding it really hard to keep anything down. So much of it we know is related to like high cortisol levels as well, which is so interesting to me, because it's been like a really stressful period. So I've been kind of forcing myself to eat, but like things that I would have done normally are really difficult. So like I do a lot of cooking from scratch. We mostly make all of our meals at home, and I would get a lot of inspiration from like Pinterest, Instagram, cookery books. I can't even look at a video or a picture of someone preparing food. That's how bad it is. It's not like set foods that I'm having a difficulty eating. It's like kind of everything. Every now and then something will taste really good or like feel or sound really good. But the only things that have really been helping are peppermint oil, lemon oil, which I've either been diffusing or just sniffing straight from the bottle, and gingins, the like sucky hard candies, which I should have brought upstairs with me, but I'll maybe try and leave a link for it down below. They have been really helpful, and yeah, that's been a little bit of a game changer. I've also like gotten out of my routine because I've been really like working really hard, of like going to bed with the kids, which is what I had been doing when I was solo parenting for that little chunk of time, which was so good and so needed. And I honestly realized how sleep deprived I must have been when I was like waking up and I was like, oh, I genuinely have energy. Like genuinely, I was like, I definitely don't need a coffee. Like I'm up at the same time as the kids. I'm feeling okay. I better drink some of this coffee before I go to sleep, or go to sleep before it gets cold. Another thing that has happened is I had my booking appointment with the hospital this week. I was sort of humming and hawing about, care this time. I know I want very little care, or very little in the way of appointments are just that little bit more difficult to manage with multiple children and minimal childcare. And I really, aside from the fact that I am rhesus negative and want to get anti-D this time, I didn't really want to be in and out of the hospital a whole lot. So I really just have one appointment here, and then I've got my 20-week scan, and then hopefully this time around, and ask your care provider if you are also rhesus negative. You'll know what I'm talking about if you are. If you're not, maybe I should do a whole separate video explaining it. But if you are rhesus negative, you can get a genotyping done. And what that means is they will take an extra vial of blood from your body to ascertain whether or not your little one that you are growing has the same blood type as you. If that baby has the same blood type as you, your body won't go on to produce the antibodies in response to growing a baby with a foreign blood type, essentially. And so it's not going to have that knock-on negative impact on future pregnancies. Again, I'll make a separate video explaining what rhesus negative actually is, and then the pros and the cons of receiving anti-D, which is a blood product. But for me, I'm hoping, because I've had one baby who was the same as me and one baby who was not, I'm hoping that it'll just be not a non-requirement. But if not, I'll go in and get anti-D again at 28-ish weeks. And then I want to go in and get my 20-week scan as well, just to make sure placenta's up out of the way, there's no cardiac anomalies, anything I need to know about with this little baby. Just to prepare for birth. You know, it won't necessarily change the course of action of things. But if it was safer for us to birth our baby in the hospital, then I would. I'm very much sitting in the pragmatic, like, I love home birth. I think that free birth is absolutely beautiful and an option, and we go into all of these things with our eyes wide open. So for me, I like to have the information first. I like to have the evidence. I like to have the information. Okay, so went in for a booking scan, or went for a booking appointment. We know now that we can get the genotyping done, so we're waiting on that. The boys came with me. It was probably not one of my best ideas, because it's like a decent length of time. If you have not had a booking appointment yet, they can be like up to 2 hours. For me, it was grand because, like, I know the girls in there, and they were able to, like, whiz through it. They knew my history, you know, they were able to, like, yeah, you don't have any of this, do you? And I was like, no. And it was great. We were able to fly through, but it still does take a significant chunk of time. And yeah, so that wasn't easy. I have really been enjoying getting outside now and getting excited about, like, the outside space, and just, like, you can see maybe from the lighting here, it's such, like, shall I turn you around? The sky is clear blue, not a cloud in sight. It's really, like, bright and just, like, feeling more like summer, which is exciting. So in view of that, we've been, like, trying to prepare the garden a bit more so that we can spend more time outside and make it just a little bit more accessible and kiddie friendly. It is getting there, but it's quite a large property, and there's, like, enough stuff to be doing all of the time, essentially, which is both fun and also really overwhelming. I am very much new to gardening and very much new to, all of that stuff. We also got new chickens recently, so they're, like, settling in, and then our friend got a dog, and I was like, oh, I really want a puppy, and I was like, whoa, okay, I can't be adding anything else to my list. I have been thinking really carefully about postpartum, and actually I think if I can rope my husband in to do a full chat about that, how we're preparing to do things differently this time, I think that would be fun. I wish I could do a poll on YouTube. Let me know down below if you think that it would be better for, like, me as mama to chat through it, or my husband, in, like, having seen me postpartum before and, like, knowing what that looks like, how he's also preparing himself and our family, and how he can support us. So that might be interesting. Yeah, I mean, other things that have happened. I'm going to do a whole separate video on the preparing for postpartum, because I have so many ideas. The nightmares have also come back, like I was saying, and I think that is, or what, did I mention that? Maybe not. The nightmares have also come back, which are, I think, related to just stress and overwhelm. I think that's my body is just, like, really processing that. And I think that maybe if I were to be in a better space mentally, that the nightmares would ease off. I've been slacking on like moving my body, which is always really helpful for me. I know many of us have our non-negotiables, you know, like I have to poop on my own, I have to have a shower once a week or whatever it might be, I have to have breakfast, I have to have my coffee. For me, it's moving. I can literally, like, it sounds awful, but like go without eating. I could go without washing. I could go without having any privacy all day long, just like kids interfering with whatever it is that I'm trying to do or interrupting me. And I would be fine. I would be able to be calm and patient and like my best self if I've moved my body. It's almost like I need to like get, whether it's the endorphin rush or the dopamine boost or just like moving my own wiggles out, because my brain really works like that. Like I'm a very like busy brain kind of person. So that's something that I've been really missing out on this week. Hence why my husband sent me upstairs. He's like, go upstairs, film one of your videos, get out of your jammies. These are such cute jams, really cute for breastfeeding actually. These were from Dunn's, I think. They're like the Kathy something or other line, but they're really cute for breastfeeding. And also they're silky. So if you were to have a cesarean birth, really lovely for like navigating in and out of the bed nice and easily, just to really like reduce the pressure on your scar, to be able to just like slide in and out is really helpful. I feel like this is just like a really wishy-washy chatty video. I feel like there's so many new things coming. I hope you're enjoying these like little series. I'm planning on releasing them like in like chunks, like 3 at a time, because I'm backlogging from before I had announced. At this week, should I like do a little check-in on how this baby is doing with you? At this week, baby is the size of a banana, which I think is just crackers. I love these comparisons. We've got 23 weeks to go. That feels insane. This little baby is looking so cute. Just like a real little human now. And it's just really exciting. And yeah, it just feels more and more real every day. I think now that we know what's on the other side of it, it's just so exciting. So we'll be finding out what we're having in about 4 weeks' time. I haven't quite decided how to announce it yet, because I feel like it could be one of those real, like, I'm very excited, as in I want to find out what we're having, and I feel like it's going to actually be a really good, like, it's the right decision. It's a really good connecting piece for us. It's a really nice, like, I think it's going to be lovely for Peter and I, and also because I still, up until literally 2 days ago, very much thought I was having a girl, and now all of a sudden I'm like, oh wait, boy energy. Of course I'm having another boy, and I feel like either way it's going to be really helpful for us to know. But I need all of your like sex or gender announcement ideas, because I want to do something really cute. I want to do something special. It feels important. I want to take pictures of it. And yeah, so things going on with the baby. Let's come back to that a bit. Currently, the baby's approximate length is 18.6 centimeters and their weight is 146 grams, which is so tiny. The veins that have been showing through your baby's skin, making them look like an alien, are less obvious as fat formation begins, and then lanugo, which is the little fluffy hairs that come all over your body, is growing. Even though your baby is still quite small, their little heart is pumping approximately 50 pints of blood every day. And then baby's also preparing to do that first bowel movement after birth. They start to like swallow all of that lovely fluid that they're swimming in. And your baby's brain is constantly communicating with the nervous system and muscles. So we're feeling, you know, those fluttering, the movements, and it's just so wonderful. I'm starting to feel more and more pregnant in myself. Like the morning bump, which now it is morning, it's very early in the morning, is like nothing in comparison to the evening bump. The evening bump is like, I could almost waddle, you know, it's so significant. So that's been kind of funny. And, you know, I'll catch myself and just be like, oh my gosh, okay, I really need to like start moving myself more, get back to my yoga, start doing the things that prioritize me in this pregnancy, instead of getting so carried away about like what it's going to be like afterwards and how I can prepare for that. So that's a really long waffly update. Apologies. We've got a lot coming up this month. March is going to be so busy. My little boy is turning 5, which is crazy. I never gave you a nursing update, actually. Perhaps I'll give that in the next video because, yeah, there's been a couple of big changes happening there and a big announcement happening. I'll talk to you in the next one. I won't keep you any longer. Thank you for joining me if you've stuck around this long, and I'll see you in the next video.